Hey, Honest community. Before we dive into this episode, we've got a quick free favour to ask. If you enjoyed the Honest Property podcast, please hit like, follow, and subscribe wherever you're listening from. It helps us grow, reach more people, and bring on guests that you want to hear from. Thanks for being a part of this. We appreciate you more than you know. Hello and welcome to the Honest Property Podcast with your hosts Becky and Ruth. And we've built a multi-million pound property portfolio over the last 12 years. We have unfiltered chats about building wealth, purpose, and freedom that actually feels good to you. And today we want to be talking about something that's quite close, very close to us. As you may not know or do know that Becky and I are mixed. We are Filipino and English. So we're British Filipinos or Filipino-British. And we have two cultural opposing cultures that we are part of. So grateful for to be able to experience an Asian side and a British side. But we realize that we don't know why in both cultures, money is not talked about enough. So we want to uncover why we think that is. So we've realized something recently. A lot of people don't really struggle with money because they're bad with it. They're struggling because they're not allowed to talk about it. And when it comes to culture, I think that's so ingrained. There's different ways or different taboos when it comes to talking about money. And growing up between two cultures, Filipino and British, we saw that they're just completely different ways, but both ended up being the same, which is not really talking a lot about it.
Yeah, I think the approaches are just really, really different. So if we're gonna refer to like the more British approach, in the UK, we really don't talk about money. We
Yeah.
just don't. It's like an avoided topic generally. It's often seen as really rude, and that is a private thing, and it's very much like people just have it without really understanding people in your own network have it or what they do with it. They downplay their success.
We did for you.
Um, yeah, we did. We kept it like if people were like, oh, yeah, we had a dog walking business and a property business, and we would be like, oh, we're just dog walkers. We wouldn't lead with the fact that we are actually landladies.
Yeah, we
Um,
always people would always, no pun intended, the underdog.
yeah,
Came
like
to
it was
build
better to
wealth.
be the underdog. Yeah. And apparently one in three Brits say they feel uncomfortable discussing money, even with close friends, in various UK finance surveys, which is actually surprising because it's obviously such a big part of life. Why is it that we feel the need to be so private about it?
You know what? And I've said this before, like the only person I have been able to have proper money conversations with is actually Becky. I've have close friends around me um, that I felt like we could never talk about money at all until I met more entrepreneurial friends. Like
Yeah,
all around me, especially like my close circle of girlfriends, especially girlfriends, never like talking about money. Like it was so awkward or um, all you would ever talk about is like the next curtain design you're going to put up. Like who
yeah. It's
cares?
like easy to talk about what you're going to spend it on as opposed to how you manage it and how you earn it, which is quite
Exactly. And I was
strange.
like, this is boring. I mean, like obviously to an extent it's nice to talk about like interior things and but like I want to know what you're doing with growing your wealth or how we can learn from each other. But I've not ever had that conversation. Like, and I can say hands down, never, ever have had that conversation with close friends ever. Becky was like the only person I could talk to. And I mean, it really helped that we were also in business together and investing. But I enjoyed that conversation. I enjoyed that topic to be able to talk about money. And it's such a shame that in British society, or maybe it was just in the area, the circles we were in, for me anyway, that
Yeah,
I only had my sister to talk to about this.
yeah. Um, yeah, it's very strange. On the flip side, the Filipino way, because I think we also need to address that there's a collective and individualistic mindset between the two cultures. So British is very individualistic, whereas the major difference that you'll see between them is the fact that the Filipino culture is so much more collective. But that like neither way is better than the other. It just has different challenges. So when it comes to Filipino attitude towards money, it's having very strong family ties, you have a shared financial responsibility. The income is for the household, not just for you.
I would like to also butt in and say that we came from an upbringing with a very Asian influenced household, and our
Mm,
parents were entrepreneurs, and everything was about earning money for the family. And every
mhm.
decision that Becky and I made when it came to earning money also was collectively towards how can we better our whole family unit's life. It was never just about us. So when we had friends who had more of an individualistic outlook in life and being like, you should be able to go and do this. You should be able to go and do that with your money. We
Yeah.
never saw it like that.
No, we found that quite confusing. We were like, but we aren't like our main why, genuinely at 20 something years old, was to provide for our parents in their retirement. Like that was the why. And now the why has evolved to provide for our own family, like our own growing family. Still, like obviously we've reached the goal of being able to have our parents be like not worry about retirement at all. Um, which is a huge achievement, but it's just interesting how that doesn't come into the mindset of typically individualistic cultures.
Mm.
The other cultural norms that we have here, because I'm currently in the Philippines right now, is sending money back to your home country, helping extended family, not just your nuclear family. So you have like some second cousin like that needs to go to school, and you have the means to pay for it. It's not abnormal for people just to pay for it, or like pay for your, say Ruth wanted to get a degree in something. I would just pay for it. And there's another term that has um, a negative connotation with it, and it's called utang na loob, and it is a debt of gratitude that can never be repaid.
Yeah.
Basically, there is the bill for that is eternity.
Give an
So,
example.
like, say I paid for Ruth's education, she would feel
Get to
as
that
a
for life.
result of her education, she will get a job, and that job means she's
Good job.
indefinitely going to have to help support me because I paid for her to get to have that
I guess
education.
it's no different to other Asian cultures where like it's a level of honor for
Mm,
out of respect for that person for helping you that you kind of like honor and really appreciate and take notice for life.
yeah,
Person did something at a time of your need and to like
yeah,
not take it for granted. Whereas and sometimes I feel like in individualistic culture, it can be a lot easier to be like, okay, thanks, and let's park it there. I'm now doing like
I'm gonna move on
I
and not think
appreciate
about
you.
you ever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no like ties anymore. You're like, thanks for that. Appreciate that time
yeah,
in my life when you were there and you helped me and I helped you back, and that's the end of it.
yeah. An interesting stat in Philippine finance is that remittance makes up 9 to 10% of the gross GDP of the Philippines, which means that it's just such an indicator of how many people are that overseas foreign workers, typically millions of Filipinos work abroad all around the world, and their main, like one of the main economic drivers of the Philippines is those people sending money back home to their families.
A lot of
Uh,
them tend to be nurses.
yes.
I did see
You-
a video, I think it was on a Netflix, a little reel online,
I
and it
think
was
I
like,
know the one you mean. She's
it's
like,
like,
that's the
"That's the
Filipino.
Filipino. Oh, thank God, are you Filipino?
Yeah, but thing is, money is talked about, and it's very like it's quite surface level, the exchange of it as again, but it's not always talked about openly. So you're expected to help, but not taught how to build wealth yourself. It's very self-sacrificial in a way. So it's like you've got to support the family, kind of no matter what your personal financial health is looking like.
Before we continue, here's a quick thought. Ever feel like there's just never enough time to focus on what really matters in your business? You don't have to do it all alone. As they say, a great team makes everything easier. That's why we've partnered with the Freedom Geek. Their talented Filipino VAs help us with tasks like admin and podcast editing, just like for this episode, giving us the freedom to focus on what really moves the needle. If you're looking to reclaim your time and to work smarter, then check out the Freedom Geek. All the details are in the show notes. Now let's get back to our conversation.
Yeah, like your personal financial
Okay.
health might not be in like top shape, and you're still like bleeding your pocket to provide.
I feel
Um,
like a lot of the time as well, like if you look outwardly, if outwardly to people that you in Filipino culture that you are like earning really well, or you have like the highest paid job out of anyone, if you go out for a meal, then it's kind of like expected that that person will probably pay for everyone. Whereas
Absolutely.
in like British culture, no one's like going to be like, I will pay for the whole bill of the table. You kind of
No,
sit there and you're
to the
dividing
penny.
the amount that you
This
ate.
is how much I didn't have that, so I'm gonna, yeah, it's very much like that.
Yeah.
100%.
So it's
Whereas
like
in
you have
Asian
to,
culture, it's like someone will pay the bill without you even realizing. Like they'll do it under the table because
but then
they
knowing
like,
that, like, oh, one day, like another time, that other person will, there's like a level of trust
yeah,
too.
yeah. But it's still very much like not talking about so much about, it's too simplistic about, or not even talk to us at all about how to earn it, keep it, manage it, grow it.
Yeah.
So it's two cultures, still a similar problem because those bits aren't being addressed. So one avoids money, the other one kind of revolves around it, but both can leave you just still financially stuck. So without the conversations, without any guidance or being shown what to do, you're just left confused because
Yeah.
you're blindsided. And then Filipino side is like the pressure of the responsibility, the emotions that come with that, and then
Because you're
left
not thinking of just your own financial security, you're also thinking of the
the
expanded
unit. Yeah.
unit.
Yeah, and as a result of that, it's very short-term sighted. It's not long-term wealth building, which is problematic because then you find yourself stuck in a cycle. Despite the contrasting cultures, you're not being taught about how money works, and that's the real problem.
Yeah, so like how this shows up now, like for people who are adults, not
Mm,
people who are adults, is people feel left behind a lot of the time when it comes to their finances because they are not talking about money. No one,
mm,
because no one's ever told them they don't know what good looks like when it comes to building their wealth, have
yeah,
guilt, a lot of guilt around money, earning more, keeping more, not helping enough,
yeah,
especially in Philippine culture, not helping enough. And there's avoidance, which is not checking your accounts to see your
mm,
progress, or like checking that you're not dipping into your emergency fund. You say when it's not when you don't need to, not investing, which is a big one that actually builds your wealth, and not asking people questions because you feel like shame in talking about money or not confident about it. Like the stats of millions of adults in the UK have low financial literacy, with many lacking confidence in basic money decisions.
yeah. Really, really, truly. Like, how many people pay for Klarna?
Oh my
Like these
God, yeah.
things just exist and really shouldn't. So it's not
In the
money. It's
UK, it's a debt culture. It's a complete
oh,
debt culture when it comes to your lifestyle.
yeah, I don't think debts are as often taken out here. It's very short term, like day by day kind of attitude, not long term so much. But if you don't learn about it, then you won't. And if you don't learn, you won't compare and you won't improve yourself. But
Hmm.
so yeah, summary, talking about money isn't rude. It's how people get better with it. And the more we open up these conversations, regardless of culture, the better.
Because silence is expensive.
Mm. So what can you do? You can start small and talk to your friends about um, rent. Like how much do they pay for rent? Why did they
Yeah.
choose that place over another place?
I
What?
personally, but at the moment I'm in between like moving, and I have been asked, like personally have been asking questions to multiple people, locals, everyone about how much are they paying? How much are they paying for rent? How much are they paying for utilities based on this size house, based on this size accommodation? If you
Yes,
ask, how are you supposed to have any data to be able to make the right decision for yourself?
exactly. Exactly.
Don't be
Um,
embarrassed. Like, do not be embarrassed. But at the end of the day, trying to look like you know what you're doing is worse than
mhm,
actually not knowing what you're doing.
yeah. And then saving your money, how are people managing their savings? Do you have savings pots? Do you put them in SIPs? Do you put them in anything that gives you a return back? What's the best banks for that? Where are you putting your savings and how much savings do you put away? Then, of course, because this on this property sisters, investing. Where do you invest your money? What do you like investing in? Is it stocks and shares? Which stocks and shares are you saving towards by diversifying your investment portfolio by a rental? Because that's we all know that long-term property, holding on to long-term property is one of the foundations of building long-term wealth.
Mm.
Um, which is what Honest Property Sisters is very much focused on.
And I think a big one that we've battled of trying
Mm,
to find the balance with is like being able to support your family shouldn't come at a cost to your own future. I think
yes.
you shouldn't feel like, I know there's a lot of guilt with it, especially coming from Filipino background, but sometimes it can feel like you need to put your family first before yourself. It's like a sacrificial honor at times. Maybe that's just what we've
Yeah.
always believed, but
Yeah.
trying to get yourself out that mindset that you need to fill your cup so that you can overflow will help you so much instead of feeling like, no, I need to give everything to them first before myself, that you haven't, that then you're just surviving, not thriving.
Yeah. So that ties in really nicely with so make sure you set boundaries. Um, learn the basics. Like we said, budgeting. What's a good budget for you? Can you adjust things? Like, where can you make wiggle room? Like, do you really need, food delivered to you every day? Or
You need to go out for takeaways.
is there a cheaper supermarket that you can go to? Or are you sure this location is right for you? Maybe there's a cheaper location to live with a
Mm.
lower general cost of living. Um, investing, of course, assets versus income, understanding the terminology, and then normalizing these wealth conversations because the more you talk about it, the less power it has over you, and the more we can collectively win.
If for any reason that when you try to normalize these conversations, be the first person to try and normalize it in your group of friends, in your network. But if for
Mm,
any reason that people are too afraid to be able to talk about money, get out of your comfort zone and start trying to talk about money with other people. You never know, like people outside of your own network, outside of your own circles, you'll learn a lot from them.
yeah, absolutely. Or, I mean, if you want to pick our brains over anything, we do have the Aligned Wealth Collective where you can literally ask us any question, and it's just full of other people who are on the same journey of building aligned wealth. That's why it's called the Aligned Wealth Collective. But that'll be in the
Show
show notes
notes.
down below. And just to bring it back to identity, we didn't grow up talking about money. We knew, we were proud of our parents for being successful entrepreneurs, but
But we
we didn't talk
struggle with
anything
it as
about,
well.
we didn't talk about managing it or investing it. That
No.
we had to learn by ourselves. Um, so it doesn't mean that you have to stay stuck in the cycle of what you know. You can grow and expand and understand more. And your background explains your relationship with money, but it doesn't have to define it. If you're aware of the gaps, go and learn about the gaps.
Yeah. That's your responsibility as an adult to go out your way to learn about these things. You don't have to
Yes,
be defined by your childhood.
yes. Um, yeah, so thank you very much. If you are a fellow Asian Brit
Flip
and
Brit.
or a Filipino Brit, please follow us. We would love to see more of us in the long-term wealth space. And
Because
grow and
representation matters.
yes, it does. And we'd love to see more of ourselves, obviously. Um, but yeah, thank you so much for listening to this episode, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.